Hi, my name's Bren. Thanks for joining me in practice today. You can find lots more classes like this one in the video on demand library at practicewithbren.com. You can start a free trial and cancel anytime. Right now, until the end of 2024, there's a 60% off sale, so you can have unlimited access to that always growing library of yoga class videos for only $11.99 a month. For our practice today, if you have yoga blocks at home, those could come in handy, but they're not required for our practice. When you have what you need, we're going to start in a reclined position. Take a moment or two to simply arrive to practice. And I'll invite you to connect with your breath. Opportunity to use your Ujjayi pranayama today. This is a slight restriction in the throat on both your inhalation and your exhalation. This Ujjayi or victorious breath might make an ocean sound. It's a couple steps before snoring. So if you'd like to use the sound and sensation of your Ujjayi breath as a focal point, that's available for our practice today. We'll start by taking both feet and both hands up towards the ceiling. Head stays resting down. Make some moves through wrists and ankles. Wiggle all your fingers and toes, and then draw the knees in towards the chest. Hug your knees as close as you can. You might wobble side to side. And then we'll start to rock up and down the length of the spine. Build a bit of momentum. The next place we're meeting is in our tabletop. If you would like to try your jump through one of these rocks with momentum, you can cross at the shins, reach your hands forward, press into the mat, and hop your feet back behind you, setting up sort of an extended tabletop, hips over knees, hands are farther forward than your shoulders. Create a stable base with flat palms and fingers spread wide. Toes tucked under behind you. We're going to start to shift forwards and back. When you come forward, shoulders over the wrists, that might look like a kneeling plank. See how it feels for the lower back if you'd like to dip the hips down, sort of a variation of upward facing dog. Hips go back towards your heels, press into the hands, but keep the elbows lifted, a very active version of child's pose. A few more times, we'll go forwards and back. Next time your hips are back towards your heels, we'll pause there, toes tucked under. Start to walk your hands back towards your knees. This might be plenty of sensation for the feet. You're welcome to stay here. Some folks might sit all the way up onto the heels, and if you have hands free, you could make some movements in the wrists or the shoulders. Be in a place where you can take about 3 more slow and smooth breaths. Returning to tabletop, keep the toes tucked under. We're going to find bear pose. Knees hover an inch above the mat. Fill up the lower back by drawing the belly towards the spine. Breathing here for 3. You might return to your Ujjayi pranayama. 2. And 1. Press your hips up and back for downward facing dog. Palms are flat, fingers are spread, shoulders are active. We'll start to walk the feet up towards the hands for Uttanasana, standing forward fold. When you're ready to inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, release and fold. Inhale, press all the way up to standing. Then exhale, relax the arms. Come back to your breath. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, fold in half. Lift up halfway, pause here. You might have a little bend in the knees. Option 1, have fingertips touching down on shins or mat or blocks. Option 2, you'll require a bit more engagement from the belly. If you'd like to extend your arms overhead, for 3, 2, and 1. Release to fold. Inhale, come all the way up, reach up, look up. Exhale, relax the arms. Hands come to your hips. At the top of your mat, draw right knee to the chest. Press the earth away with your standing left leg. Start to lean forward as you extend your right leg long behind you. Take a slow step into high lunge. Pivot on both feet to find a wide leg forward fold. While folding forward, we're going to start to turn to the back of the mat. Pivot on both feet to find lunge legs facing the back of the room. When you're ready, lift your torso upright. Push off the back foot. Try to step straight away into left knee to chest. And set your left foot down. We'll have a couple opportunities to practice that, so no problem if you're not getting the hang of that right away. We're going to go back exactly the way we came, standing at the back of the mat. Draw left knee to chest. Lean forward as you take a slow and careful step behind you into high lunge. Pivot on both feet and fold forward, a wide-legged forward fold. Now we're turning towards the front of the mat. Pivot on both feet for lunge legs. Lift your torso upright. High lunge facing the top of the mat. Press off the back foot. Try to bring right knee to chest straight away. And set the right foot down. Pause here if you'd like. Shake it out if you'd like to. We'll do that on the other side. Then we'll make things a little more interesting. Hands on the hips. Top of the mat. Left knee to chest. Lean forward, big step behind you, high lunge. Pivot so all your toes face the left edge of the mat, wide-legged forward fold. Pivot on both feet for lunge legs facing the back of the room. Lift yourself upright, high lunge, back of the mat. Right knee comes straight up to the chest. Set the right foot down. Same thing the way we came in. Right knee to chest. Big step behind you, high lunge facing the back of the mat. Pivot on both feet, wide leg forward fold. Pivot to the top of the mat, high lunge facing the front of the mat. Left knee to chest, Tadasana. Release your arms, reset if you'd like to. We'll start to add on from here. Meet in Tadasana. You might remember your Ujjayi Pranayama. We'll find that same pattern with the legs, opportunity to add the upper body now. Right knee to chest and arms overhead. Reach forward, tip forward, step behind you, high lunge. Wide-legged forward fold facing the right side of the mat, fingertips touch down. Walk your hands towards the right foot, pivot on both feet for a lunge at the back of the mat. Lift your torso upright, reach up. Big step up, left knee to the chest. And really slow, we're gonna lower the hands and the left knee at the same time. Back the way we came. Left knee to chest, arms overhead. Tip forward, reach forward, step into high lunge facing the back of the mat. Pivot to the long side of your mat for wide-legged forward fold. Fingertips walk towards the left foot, pivot on both feet for lunge legs facing the top of the mat. When you're ready, torso lifts up, hands to the ceiling. Big step up, right knee to chest, arms overhead at the top of the mat. Slow motion, lower hands and right knee. Over to the other side. Left knee to chest, arms overhead. Tip forward, reach forward, step back, high lunge. Pivot to the long left side of the mat, wide leg forward fold, fingers touch down. Reach to the left foot, pivot on both feet, lunge at the back of the mat. Right knee to chest, arms overhead, back of the mat, slow motion, lower the hands and the right knee. Back the way we came, right knee to chest, arms overhead. Lean forward, step back, high lunge facing the back of the mat. Open for wide leg forward fold. Hands walk towards the right foot, pivot on both feet. Find high lunge facing the top of the mat. Left knee to chest, arms overhead, top of the mat. Slow motion, lower the hands, lower the left knee. Come back to the breath. Reset. Meeting at the top of the mat, Tadasana. Start to lift up the heels any amount. You might find hands together in front of the chest. Option to stay tall, option to try your toe stand elevator. Bend the knees and very slowly lower your hips towards your heels. Back up you go. Try to move at the same speed. Set the heels down. Right knee to chest, arms overhead. This time we're adding a warrior three. Reach forward, kick the right foot behind you. Find a moment as a long horizontal line. And then reach the right toes for the mat behind you. Tip upright for high lunge. Pivot open for wide leg forward fold. Turn to the back of the mat, high lunge facing the back of the mat. Warrior three, reach forward, tip forward, lift off the back foot. Start to tip yourself upright, left knee to chest, arms overhead. Slow motion, lower the hands and the left knee. Come back to your breath. Facing the back of the mat, left knee to chest, arms overhead. Warrior three, tip forward, reach forward, step your left foot back. Land in your high lunge facing the back of the mat. Pivot open, wide leg forward fold. Turning towards high lunge facing the top of the mat. Warrior three, reach forward, tip forward, lift off that right foot. Tip yourself upright as you bring your right knee to the chest. Slow motion lower. Toe stand elevator, lift the heels, hands together in front of the chest. Bend the knees gradually. Imagine keeping your spine vertical like you're sliding down a wall. Set your heels down. Find your breath. Left knee to chest, reach up. Warrior three, tip forward. Left toes touch down behind you, high lunge. Pivot open for wide-legged forward fold. Turning towards the back of the mat, setting up for high lunge. Warrior three, tip forward, lift off that back foot. Tip upright, right knee to chest, arms overhead, slow motion lower. Back the way we came. Right knee to chest, arms overhead. Warrior three, right foot behind you. Right toes touch down, high lunge facing the back of the mat. Wide-legged forward fold. Turn towards the top of the mat, set up your high lunge. Lean forward, reach forward, warrior three. Tip yourself upright, left knee to chest. Slow motion lower. Reset. Find your breath. That same pattern one more time on each side, opportunity to add a little bit more spice. In Tadasana, top of the mat. Right knee to chest, arms overhead. Option to extend your right leg. Continue to breathe here for 3. Keep pressing the mat away with your standing leg. 2. And 1. Tip forward, kick that right foot behind you, warrior 3. Right toes touch down, high lunge. Wide leg forward fold. Turn to the back of the mat. High lunge. Tip forward, reach forward, warrior 3. Tip yourself upright, left knee to chest. Opportunity to extend the left leg for 3. Keep standing tall, 2. 1. Put your left foot down. At the back of the mat, left knee to chest, arms overhead. Extend through the left leg, 3. Keep breathing, 2. 1. Tip forward, kick the left leg behind you, warrior 3. Left toes touch down, high lunge facing the back of the mat. Wide leg forward fold. High lunge facing the top of the mat. Tip forward, warrior 3. Tip yourself upright, right knee to chest, arms overhead. Extend the right leg, 3. 2. 1. Right foot touches down. Reset. Tadasana, top of the mat. Hands together in front of the chest, lift the heels high. Bend the knees. Gradually make your way down. Gradually make your way up. Heels touch down. Left knee to chest, arms overhead. Opportunity to extend the left leg. 3, 2, 1. Lean forward, kick back, warrior 3. High lunge facing the top of the mat. Wide leg forward fold. Set up your lunge facing the back of the mat. Start to tip forward. Make your way to warrior 3. Tip yourself upright, right knee to chest, arms overhead. Extend the right leg. 3, 2, 1. Set your right foot down. Last time, back the way we came. Right knee to chest, arms overhead. Extend the right leg. 3, 2, 1. Lean forward, right leg behind you, warrior 3. High lunge facing the back of the mat. Wide leg forward fold. Setting up high lunge facing the top of the mat. Warrior 3. Tip yourself upright. Left knee to chest, arms overhead. Extend the left leg. 3, 2, 1. Set your left foot down. Come back to your breath. Can you hear your breath happening? Can you feel your breath happening? Meeting in Tadasana. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, fold in half. Lift up halfway, pause. Opportunity to extend the arms overhead for 3. Draw the belly up away from the thighs. 2. It only counts if you're breathing. 1. Fold and release. Let's spend a moment in a ragdoll forward fold. You might widen your stance a little, bend the knees a lot. Either elbows rest on the knees or belly rests on the thighs. You might make some yes and no movements with the head. Hands touch down on the mat. Step your right knee back behind you. We're setting up a low 90-90 lunge. Climb upright once you get there. Keep your hips and shoulders square to the top of the mat. Add a pelvic tilt like you're pointing your tailbone down towards the floor. You might already feel that at the front of the right hip and into the right thigh. If you like, arms reach overhead. Inhale, arch, look up. Exhale, tuck the pelvis, curl, round, forward. Inhale, arch. Exhale, tuck, curl, round. Once more. Find a neutral spine, release the arms. You might like to lengthen your stance beyond your 90-90 lunge. This is where blocks might come in handy if you have them. Frame your left foot with hands or blocks. We'll start to move our hips forward and back in space. Pivot on your left heel, so when you pull your hips back, your left toes point up towards the ceiling. You might inhale, low lunge, exhale, half splits. Next time you're forward in low lunge, glue the sole of your foot down onto the mat. Exhale, half splits, but keep the toes touching down. You might feel that at the front of the left ankle. Pause here on fingertips or blocks. Imagine the spine stays pretty long for 3, 2, 1. Bend to the left knee. Hands touch down on something. Elevate your back knee. You can build a bit of momentum and take a great big step forward, standing forward fold. Other side, left knee steps behind you, setting up our 90-90 lunge. Climbing upright, start with just the pelvic tilt. So instead of your tailbone pointing to the back of the mat, point your tailbone to the mat beneath you. You can stay here to explore sensation, or you can add that oscillating cat-cow movement. Inhale, arch, reach back, look up. Exhale, tuck, curl, round, forward. Couple more times at your own pace. Relax the arms, neutral spine, hands find blocks or the mat. You might lengthen your stance beyond that 90-90. And we'll move through our hip floss. You might inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half splits, pick up the toes. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, hips move back. Next time you're forward in low lunge, glue the sole of your right foot down onto the mat. Hips move back in space for that half splits variation, but stretching through the front of the right ankle. Fingertips touch down on something for 3. See if you can keep your hips square to the top of the mat. 2. And 1, bend the right knee, low lunge. Support from the hands helps you elevate the left knee. You could build a bit of momentum to take a great big step forward. Uttanasana at the top of the mat. Next time you're ready to inhale, you could lift up halfway. Exhale, release. Inhale, come all the way up, reach up, look up. We're going straight back down. Exhale, fold in half. Hands touch down, step your feet all the way back for high plank. Opportunity for a slow 5-second lower onto the belly. 5. Keep the elbows in close towards the midline. 4. 3. I think it helps if you smile. 2. And 1. Lie down on the belly. You could stack the hands to support the forehead. Pause here. Remembering your Ujjayi breath. Thank you. We'll roll onto the back body for a couple of twists before we end our practice. Draw your right knee towards the chest and extend your left leg long down your mat. Left hand guides your right knee across the body. Roll onto your outer left hip. Chest stays open to the ceiling. You might reach your right arm overhead, back of the hand touching down. You might like to bend your left knee and reach your right hand to or towards your left toes for 3. Could your breaths be soft and smooth? 2. 1. If you're holding onto your foot, see if you can release without slingshotting the foot. Extend your left leg, roll onto the back, set your right foot down. Left knee to chest, right leg extended long down your mat. Right hand guides your left knee across, roll onto your outer right leg line. Chest open to the ceiling. Option 1, left arm overhead, back of the hand touching down. Option 2, cat pulling its tail, bend the right knee, reach the left hand to or towards the right foot. How about 3 soft and smooth breaths here? If you're holding the right foot, gentle release. Roll onto the back. And we'll find a brief Shavasana. Make it your most comfortable resting position. Opportunity to count 10 cycles of breath. Come back to the breath for 3. 2, 1. You might roll to one side and pause there for a couple breaths, or you might be ready to make your way up to a comfortable seat. Thank you for joining me in practice today. If you're still watching, it would be really helpful if you hit like and subscribed. That helps me to keep creating free content like this. Hope to see you again soon.